In our last video, John shared the 10 trips that he would like to take. Now it's my turn. Hi, this is Amy with TPF, Trips, Places, and Fun, where we share how to have family-friendly adventures, both close to home and while traveling. Now, as I said before, last video, John got to share the trips that he would like to take. And while I was in agreement with a few of them, there were actually quite a few things that he mentioned that I wasn't interested in, and there will probably be one or two on my list that he would not be interested in. But let's go ahead and get started with the 10 trips that I would love to take. Number 1, and this is one that John and I did agree on, Washington, D.C. We went to Washington, D.C. 20 years ago when I was pregnant with my second son. And this is just a place that is full of history of our country. This is something that I love. I love history. I love museums. And the great thing about Washington, D.C. is that there is a lot there to do for absolutely free. So the Smithsonian museums, a lot of the monuments, some of the tours, you can do at no cost. Now, last time we went, John and I only had a couple of days to try to see as much as we could. So we just went from museum to museum, from monument to monument. But we were in such a rush. And of course, we just did not have the time to do it all. So I think we could probably put in a whole week and not even see everything that there is to see. So that's my number 1. That's the first trip that I would like to take. Number 2, and this is another one that John and I were in agreement, is a Disney cruise. That's something that we hope to do this year, hopefully in November. And we are thinking the Bahamas, the Caribbean, Castaway Cay, which is Disney's own private island, that area. So we've just heard great things about Disney cruises. I have never been on a cruise, an overnight cruise at least. And so John has been begging me for years. We've been married for 23 years and he's been begging me to do this. And I have always been afraid of motion sickness, so I have always said no, but I'm going to try to suck it up and try it and see how it goes. But so hopefully that is on our list for this year. Hopefully we can get that done. Number 3, another one we are in agreement upon, is Disney Paris. And so obviously we love Disney. We've got 2 Disney things on our list, but I would just love to see Paris regardless of whether Disney was there. I love the Eiffel Tower. My girl's bedroom is themed in the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and so is my living room. So I really love it. I'd love to see it in person. And of course, since Disney is there, we might as well do that too. So moving on to number 4, and this is the last trip that John and I had in common, and that is Italy. So John really wants to go to Rome. His dad went to school at the Vatican and did all his schooling in Latin. That's really impressive to me. So John has always wanted to go back to Rome, or go to Rome to see kind of what his father experienced. I would love to go to the Italian countryside. I have a friend who recently toured Italy, and she loved the quaint villages. She loved the architecture. She loved the people. Of course, the Italian food would be really awesome. So that is, I don't know, I would just love to take a little tour of all the little towns and villages and meet people and eat, and that just sounds really awesome to me. All right, so moving on to number 5, and this is where John and I kind of part ways. At least the things I'm about to mention were not on his list. Now, he probably would go with me, I would hope, but my number 5 is San Antonio. John got to go to San Antonio once for work. He did really love it, so I think he would join me on this trip. But it has a river walk, it has SeaWorld, again, a lot of museums, so a lot of culture there. The Alamo, so some history. So all those things I really like are there. So I would love to go to San Antonio at least for a few days and tour all of that and just see what it has to offer. Now, moving away from the U.S., my number 6 is Prince Edward Island. This is in Canada. I grew up watching the Anne of Green Gables movies, the Anne of Green Gables series. Have any of y'all watched that? If so, let me know in the comments below. And also, just take this time to subscribe and give me a thumbs up and ring that bell to be notified of future videos. But the Anne of Green Gables movies are set on Prince Edward Island, and it just seemed like a beautiful place. They had the Lake of Shining Waters, and so just some beautiful places there that I have always wanted to see. I actually wanted to go on our honeymoon to Prince Edward Island 23 years ago, and we ended up going to New Orleans, Baton Rouge instead, so I didn't get to do it, and I've never been there, and it's something I've always wanted to do, so hopefully we can make that happen. Now, moving on to number 7 is Switzerland. I have just seen some amazing videos of the Swiss Alps and train rides through the Swiss countryside, and it just seems so beautiful. So this is just something that I would love to see, those mountains in person, the snow-covered Alps. I don't know, it seems amazing. And so, I don't know, I'd like to go there and just see what it's all about and look at that just, I don't know, amazing countryside in person. Alrighty, moving on to number 8. Number 8 is Germany. Now, I actually lived in Germany twice as a child. My dad was in the Air Force and he was stationed there. And so I'm a tiny bit familiar with it. I love Nutella before any of my U.S. friends had ever even tried it. The German food is incredible. Unfortunately, most of it is breaded, and now I can't eat wheat, so I might have to, not have the spätzle, which makes me really sad. And a lot of the meats are breaded, but I can still have German potato salad and some of that yummy red cabbage. And let's see, sausages and stuff like that. But in addition to the food, which is incredible, they also have some beautiful castles. You can do some castle tours, some incredible architecture and stuff like that. So Germany's always somewhere I've wanted to go back. We almost went back when I was a teenager, and I didn't end up getting to do it. So I would love to do that. That's on my bucket list. All right, moving on to number 9 is Ireland. Ireland is a place I have always wanted to go. I have Irish heritage. Kiss me, I'm Irish. Anyway, so I just would like to go there and kind of see what that's all about, where my ancestors came from. I don't know if it's my great-great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother came over from Ireland during the potato famine. And so, I don't know, I just feel like there's some neat history there, some family heritage there. So I'd like to go there, and it's also a place that I believe is very beautiful, and I'd love to see in person. And moving on to my last trip that I really want to take, and this will be number 10, is New Zealand. And New Zealand is where The Lord of the Rings was filmed. So The Lord of the Rings is probably one of my favorite series or movies. And it is just so beautiful, and they actually have the Lord of the Rings tours that you can take when you're there. I think that would be really neat to do, to tour there. I've had friends that have gone there and just say it's incredibly beautiful. So I am kind of a sucker for a beautiful countryside. I'd love to go see some of that, and just, the architecture and all the kind of that old history. I don't know, I love all that. So I'd love to go to New Zealand. Hopefully John would join me there. I think he would. But the one I think he probably would not join me on is maybe Prince Edward Island. But I could maybe convince him to do it. So anyway, those are my 10 trips that I'd really like to take. Where are some places you guys would like to go? Please let me know in the comments below what kind of your dream is, where you would love to travel. And so I don't know how many of these I will actually get to do, but I'd love to kind of start checking these off the list and maybe do some TPF videos on them. So have a great day, everybody, and safe travels, everyone.